Starting a business in Uganda can be an uphill task, and in fact, Uganda has been ranked before as one of the most entrepreneurial countries, with very few of these business startups being able to survive infancy. This evening on the Business Clinic show, a show that brings you solutions to most of the business challenges that you face, we talk about business incubation. What is the importance of business incubation? Who does the business incubation and who qualifies for this business incubation? With me this evening is a business development consultant, an incubation expert, and a trainer, Gilbert Wilejea. You're most welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Good.
Thank you for hosting us again.
Thank you. So to go straight, business incubation, Gilbert, what is business incubation? The person watching out there would want to know, what exactly is business incubation?
Thank you. Thank you for watching, viewers. And as Alex has introduced me, I'm a business development expert and with experience in the business incubation. Alex has asked me to dissect the term business incubation, which I can basically talk about in the words that you viewers can basically understand. And this business incubation just talks about, or it refers to a process of nurturing one's idea, which we look at as an idea that is supposed to be developed process by process, step by step, so that the idea actually becomes a sustainable business, a sustainable company that can grow, that can survive all these struggles that we shall be talking about as we go on in the show.
Thank you, Gilbert. I am starting to think, you're talking about someone coming with an idea, and then there is this company or this group that are willing to help this, business to grow right from scratch, right from ideation, show them how to come up with the idea, how to refine the idea, how to get money for the business. Oh, good. So, do you think that this is a concept that is here in Uganda?
Yes. Business incubation is a concept that Uganda is actually welcoming at a very high rate. Okay. I'm very glad that whenever we move around, we find that these business incubation centers are actually increasing. Okay. If I may give an example, we have about 10 of them already here in Uganda. Okay. The government has picked an interest and is planning to put up regional incubation centers. Okay. Which only not look at innovation, but also looking at these small businesses of the lowest person or citizen of Uganda who is willing to start up a small business, and how they can help such a person, one, to excel, one, to find market, one, to find revenue or funding. And I'm sure that as we go on with the show, I want to explain what revenue and funding is about, on which these business incubation centers actually give a lot of advice, a lot of expert knowledge on how a person can grow his revenue or can grow his market through these incubation centers. Okay.
So are you saying that part of what incubation business incubators do is to build the capacity of the people running the business so that they can have that, knowledge and skills and all that to be able to grow their businesses?
That is exactly what these business incubation centers are supposed to do. Okay. I'm saying they are supposed to do. Probably there could be some that are not doing it, but these are some of the things that incubation centers are supposed to do. One, you realize that starting up a business and sustaining a business is not that simple task. That a business or a company or an organization is supposed to go through a series of steps or processes. So a business incubation center or a business incubation organizational company is supposed to help such a company, such an individual, for those who help also individuals, that they go through these steps. By the time they are ready to take off, then they can leave the incubation center ready to survive.
Thank you, Gilbert. I think from the layman's understanding, a business incubation, picking from the definition of incubation, because when we were growing up, we used to know incubation of the young ones of a hen. You incubate them so that they grow through the stages.
And the idea is exactly the same.
Thank you so much. I think now I'm becoming a very good student. That you put a company there, and then it goes through the stages, like you produce a child, and the child goes from crawling to standing to walking, and finally you have a big man like Gilbert. So I think that's a very important thing, and I think that's something that should help us. Gilbert, you mentioned that the government has picked interest in this concept of incubation. Are there some of the business incubators in Uganda that are actually run by government? If yes, please share with us.
Yes, they are. And a very good example, which I think most of the people around Kampala are aware of, is the Uganda Industry Research Centre or Institute that is right here, I think on Ginger Road as you head to Banda. URI is a government-owned incubation center that is doing really great. I wish our viewers could have some time to visit and have an experience of what happens there. Alex, I must tell you there is quite a lot that Ugandans are doing, and this is because of the process that they go through, for example, at the Uganda Industrial Research Institute. I can tell you, for example, Ugandans have been saying, we cannot manufacture even toothpicks. There is quite a lot. Cups that you cannot find probably in the world. Sure. Have you ever seen a cup that is made from a horn of a cow?
I can imagine.
There are cups that are made in stones.
Sure. And we have many stones here. We also have many cow horns. We slaughter cows every day. So.
Yuli is trying to do what we call value addition to almost everything that you can think about. Okay. Even the garbage that people throw away, Yuli is helping Ugandans put this into value. Okay. And the only requirement that you need is probably quite a little money that you can use maybe to buy a few not even equipment, a few materials that you may need to use. One, there are machines that have been procured by the government. Okay. There are machines that they have put there for we Ugandans to utilize and actually do something out of what we have in our environment. Sure. You must be aware of Mega Standard that is doing well. Mega Standard has been incubated by Yuri and many other companies that have.
You mean Mega Milk?
Yes, Mega Milk, Mega Yogurt, and it is that's like Mega. It's called
Mega Industries.
Mega Industries. Sure. And that's amongst others. So many companies that have actually benefited from an incubation center that is Yuri. Okay. Apart from that, of course. Government is also trying to put up another incubation center that is focused on ICT and is almost complete. That is going to be situated at Uganda, at Nakawa. One of the centers will be at Nakawa, and as well as the others that are going to be put up regionally in Barara, Mbale, and I think Gulu. And this has been all because the government has seen that business incubation centers play a very big role in the sustainability of these businesses that we Ugandans, who have been, of course, given this opportunity that we take up our businesses to another level. Yeah, the government is putting in on that effort. Okay. Thank God that even other private entities are doing this. You must be aware of another incubation center that is being facilitated by government at the Makerere Innovation Incubation Centre, doing the same thing. Looking at these business ideas that the young ones, the special students from Makerere come up with, and they can be developed into sustainable companies over a period of about 6 months or so.
Sure. Gilbert, as someone who has started business before and I've started very many and I've failed very many times, I know that sometimes you really need you need that freedom to think, freedom to innovate, freedom to come up with this and the other, freedom to, privacy and all that, to be able to do your business. When you talk about an incubation center, I imagine that there are very many people, like you find a room and there are very many people all being incubated to become businesses. Yeah. What is that unique thing that incubation centers actually give that I should be able to give away my freedom, to freedom of thought and freedom of expression and freedom of all this, to actually, benefit from this government, these incubation services?
Thank you, Alex. By the time you put up what we call an incubation center, especially a business incubation center, you want to give the people a feel of what it means by thinking about an idea, developing it, giving it all that it needs for it to grow. even right away from ideation that I've been talking about. So one of the things that these incubation centers give is just free space. And people don't actually look at this as a very big opportunity.
Sure.
Of course, some of us have our small homes where you cannot even have time to sit down in a cool environment where there is no noise and think about what you need to do or what you need to grow your business. You have heard about how monks have actually been one of the few people who do a lot of inventions and innovations. Why? Because they have a lot of time to meditate. Sure. Sit somewhere for some minutes, meditate, look at a problem and see how you can actually solve it. Sure. Apart from free space.
And I also know how expensive it is to rent an office in Kampala.
Of course,
or if you want to do a production or anything, I know how hard it is really to get enough space and later on pay for it. So I think that's something important that you bring out there. Yeah.
So apart from this free space that is given by incubation centers, where for those who need to do ideation can sit and try to do some planning, some research and etc. These incubation centers also provide you with space for those who may need an office or an address, for those who have already started some kind of business, that they can actually use that as an address or an office as they grow their business. There are many other things that...
So I don't have to rent an office somewhere. I just come once I submit that I want to be incubated here, then they give me a desk, they give me a chair, and I can always come and sit and work.
You have internet, you have
everything
you have
that I
other
need.
Services for printing and etc. So that at least by the time you start making money, by the time you need to get out, you have some money to pay for the rent. Okay. But most times, people who tend to start up businesses, they do not consider that in that first period where you're not making any profit, you're not making any money, you still need to pay rent. You need to still pay some services for cleaning, for printing, for internet and etc., which sometimes, of course, is not sustainable for some time. A reason why we are seeing businesses not celebrating their first birthday.
After all, most people here in Uganda start businesses not because they really want to become so rich, but some of them have looked for a job and they can't find it, and therefore you find that they don't have a lot of savings. Gilbert, very important. Most people start business not without the requisite knowledge and skills to actually like how to sell, how to market, how to come up with an idea and all that. Is there a possibility that these incubation centers could actually give some bit of training on how to manage a business and how to come up with some of these things? Is that also maybe part of the offer that we can get from?
Very much. Thank you for that, Alex. I'm also not comfortable with business incubation centers that only focus on providing free space. I don't agree with that kind of model. Because much as you give us this space, we incubatees, we also need that expertise touch that in whatever that we plan to do, we need that guidance. And thanks to some of these incubation centers that have come up with structured programs that these incubatees actually go through. For example, these incubatees have mentors, they have coaches, and then there is the program they follow through market research, through planning, business planning, through capacity building, for example, team building, and which are the crucial concepts or parts of business planning and actually implementation. I thank, for example, the Uganda Industry Research Institute, which I've visited a number of times, that is actually doing this, that if you enroll and you're part of this incubation center, you accept to go through this incubation center and go through the program they provide you. If you only need to come for space, research has shown that those who come for space, most times they want to do the things the way they want, but most times they do not get successful. So this program structure that these incubation centers come up with is entirely to give a touch, to give advice, to give this expert knowledge to these incubatees who are planning or who want to excel in their businesses. Sure. Some of the other roles, of course, that they play is, for example, helping you to do a feasibility study. Some actually give some fund for you to go to the market and do some of these things that we're talking about. Some do counseling services, especially for those who may have considered themselves to be failures in business. Of course, some others give accounting and legal services, which on one's budget maybe could not afford having accounting services, accounting consultancy services, or legal services. So some of these services like accounting services, legal services, networking services, talk about market, because having an incubation center like Yuli or like Makerere Innovation Centre, they have a network of people they deal with. This could be organizations, this could be embassies, this could be government ministries and etc. So already you have market, you have a network through which sometimes you can actually get some of these services or funding from.
I see. You are watching the Business Clinic Uganda, a show that we use to bring you solutions to most of the challenges that you could be facing as you do your business. We are talking about business incubation, and we are looking at very many people out there who would want to start business, but probably they don't know where to go to get some of these free or these subsidized services to help them go through this business startup, process. And we need to appreciate, number one, that starting a business, you need to do a lot of research. And like Gilbert is sharing with us, that sometimes there can also be support for you to reach out the market to be sure that you actually are on the right track. Let's go for a short commercial break. When we return, we talk about the mentorship and coaching service that you need to actually look out for at the Business Incubation Centre. You are watching the Business Clinic. Welcome back from that short commercial break. You are watching the Business Clinic, and we are here to seek to get solutions to most of the business challenges that you get. This show is going to change the lives of many people out there who have been stuck in business and they do not know what to do. And we are here, and our business is to get these solutions right into your business so that you can be ready. Before we went for the short commercial break, we were talking about business incubation, and we were looking at mentorship and coaching. That at business incubation centers, you need mentors and coaches. And Gilbert, what exactly do these mentors and coaches do, and why do we need them anyway?
Alex, you and I agree to the fact that most of us have different skills, have different capabilities, especially when it comes to doing business. Maybe some of us are good at marketing, some of us are good at convincing a person to buy a product, some of us are good at product development. When I talk about, for example, in ICT, some people are good at coding, so they come up with a very good app, but there's that other person who needs to do their marketing for such a product. So these business incubation centers need or have mentors and coaches who take up that role to do capacity development to these startups and incubators. For example, mentors who are actually very important to do the mentorship. And what does this entail? Mentorship entails having sessions with these incubators. They could be groups or teams. It could be an individual who is doing business, but he needs this constant encouragement, especially from these people who have done businesses and have become successful, or for these who have done businesses and have failed and they have learned from their mistakes, and they have now better lessons on how to handle businesses.
So they can share with the incubators about what they went through and how they came out of it, and
what they should expect
when
they start a business. So most especially we encourage that these mentorship sessions are one-on-one. We don't have a very big group. Let's say we have a team of 4 with a mentor or a coach to sit with this team and listen to them. And actually one of the biggest roles of these mentors and coaches is to listen. Sit down and listen to these problems or some of the questions that these incubators or these teams bring up to you. And then, of course, from experience, then you can actually give your take or your informed advice on what these incubators really want. Of course, we have normally problems with incubation centers that do not come up with mentors who have experience, or who have that touch that they can actually give the informed advice that you've been talking about. So really, these mentors and coaches should be informed. They should have an overview, for example, of what the entrepreneurship or the business ecosystem that we are in. You cannot now, for example, bring a mentor or a coach from USA or Canada. Yes, it may be good, but we need these coaches or mentors who know the environment in which these startups or incubators are working in. So
talking about the experience and all that, if we can borrow from football, I normally see the coaches and all the people who certainly played football some time back, retired, and then went now to learn how to actually coach others. So I tend to pick from you that you actually must have someone who really has information and knowledge about business and how business runs. Probably they have done business before, they have been successful, they have failed, and they can share the failures and the lessons they picked, and so that this can actually help these, these and these people. Now, out of curiosity, do we really have this mentorship and coaching concept? Is it something common in this country?
Yes, it is. It is, Alex. I myself have dealt with a number of them. Okay. We have actually very good mentors and coaches that I've worked with on a number of projects, and they're doing good work. Of course, some are into the social innovation, doing the coaching and doing a little bit of coaching related to counseling. But we have gone through a series of activities where actually these coaches and mentors go through training. Some are actually trained, they are certified, and they do good work. So I would actually encourage that those who are planning to put up incubation centers and those who already have incubation centers, that they reach out to some of these experts who are readily available to actually do these coaching and mentorship sessions. Some actually do it free of charge. I must thank a number of them who have shown this interest of doing the coaching and mentorship free of charge. Some tell you we want to touch the lives of Ugandans, we want them to reach where we are, or we want them not to repeat the mistakes that we did. So, Alex, I must tell you that this mentorship and coaching concept is actually also taking over, just like the business incubation is taking over. And Ugandans are fully participating in some of these sessions, especially the business clinics that we run, where these mentors and coaches sit with these teams and discuss some of these issues that affect their businesses.
How do I know that this is the right mentor or the right coach for me? I have met you and I do not know much about you. Probably I have read about you in the newspaper or I've watched you on TV. When you're speaking nicely, must that be qualification? Do I say now I have arrived, now I have a mentor or a coach?
Not entirely. Of course, you have had.
Or do I look at your CV to say that you actually have an MBA or you have a BBA or you have so many degrees that you have,
Alex, not everyone probably who did an MBA or who did a PhD or who is doing, lecturing or who is doing business is a mentor. Mentorship and coaching need quite more than what training or lecturing or business is. You may be a very successful business person, but you cannot do mentorship. You may be a very good lecturer in the university, but you cannot do coaching. So some of the qualities, for example, of a good mentor or a good coach is having an outlook of business. You have experience of what the business environment is about. This may not really entirely mean that you are doing business, and actually we have very good coaches and mentors
who are not doing business. Who are not practicing.
Yes, they're not practicing business, but they have a very good experience of what business is about. I must tell you that I've dealt with some of them, and they are good at this. Second, we look at professionals. Professionals, for example, you look at bankers, you look at lecturers, you look at engineers, you look at, depending on which, of course, business you're trying to start up or maybe to accelerate, these professionals also have a good touch. Of course, that's why I'm saying that after these coaches have shown interest of doing the coaching and mentorship, they need also to go through some training after their profession. yes, having experience of what is in engineering, what is in ICT, what is in banking, what is in accounting, what is in marketing, what is in PR, what is in whatsoever, does not give you a good experience, of course, on how to do actual coaching. So most of these need certification. It may not be certification of, I don't know, outside Uganda, but we also have trainers here who do this certification of these mentors. But first, you must have someone who has a feel of doing this, not even for money. Actually, most of the good mentors and coaches that we have are those also are doing it on a voluntary basis. Of course, when it comes to money, the person wants to make money, so he can do anything else to make money. So I would encourage that for those who will be looking out for these mentors and coaches, to always look out for a person who is into it, who is into this coaching and mentorship. And of course, the business incubation centers are good at this. They know what to look out for. Why we encourage that, please, do not start up your own business incubation center, you and your coach, but probably look out for these business incubation centers that know how to look out, how to source these coaches and mentors. Of course, they have a scorecard on who to take up in that mentorship.
Thank you so much, Gilbert. You are looking for a business coach or a business mentor. Look for someone who has business intuition. They have the psychology to understand the business. They have to appreciate the environment. They have maybe some experience that they can give you informed advice that can help you to actually appreciate the challenges you are going through, and you should be able to navigate through them. And you are watching Business Clinic, the show that brings you all these solutions that we bring together to ensure that you are successful at running your business, because our business, like I always say, is to ensure that your business is actually running well. Gilbert, someone out there could be wondering, what are the requirements for me to get into a business incubation center? Or when I get there, what is the process? What process do I go through? Please take us through. What are the requirements and what process does someone go through?
Alex, I must say that the few incubation centers that I've visited, both within Uganda and outside Uganda, have different requirements that they need for incubatees. But the most common ones, for example, in here Uganda, is that one, especially for the small businesses that people would want to start up with, they do not require much. Most times they want you to prove that you're Ugandan. That means you must have documentation that you're Ugandan.
Okay, you're not an intruder.
Yes, and if they are government owned, they don't really ask you to pay money to become part of the team, but only the money would come in if, for example, you want to start up doing juice, and they say, please, can you come up with some materials, some fruits, so that you can use our machines, and the other process is ours. So you can only have that little money to probably have the raw materials that you need to start building up your product or etc.
So the incubation center gives you the machinery and maybe the mechanism by which you will do the stuff, but the inputs like those fruits and all those others that you need, you must come with them.
You must come with them.
Okay.
And thank God that they are improving. I'm told that sooner or later we shall be having these raw materials readily available for incubatees. They say it's a process. Of course, it also depends about the funding that we have, and sooner or later we may have these raw materials so that you come with your head, with your idea, which is very important. And actually, I forgot to talk about that first, because an idea is one of the requirements that you must have. If you come to URI, if you come to Makerere Innovation Incubation Centre, which idea would you want to actually grow? So that is one of the requirements, and which is the most, I think, required item that you must have on your list.
Because then you don't have business going to the incubation center if you don't have anything to incubate.
Actually, your business of going to the incubation center is having an idea to grow. So that is the most common requirement that one should have. Talking about the process, the incubation process. Yes. Of course, the very first one that we all know is what we call the pre-incubation. Okay. And in this process, you must have an idea, and you must work on your idea. Most times they provide you with space, sit down. If you have a team, build your team and start making sure that your idea is actually an idea that is innovative, that has potential innovative idea that can actually grow into businesses. So the pre-incubation stage is just looking about your idea, making it better. If you need to write a proposal, a concept note, please put it down. And it's about preparing a person or preparing a team so that the idea has gone through, for example, a feasibility study, and the idea can actually have potential to grow into businesses. If you pass that level, that is the pre-incubation level.
Is that something that we can relate to the people getting married, premarital counseling?
Premarital counseling, yes, more or less like that, because they are preparing you really to go into another level, which is
something interesting.
Something interesting. So from the pre-incubation level, of course, you go to the incubation level, and this is now where the real work is. If you came up with an idea to make juice, this is now when you start making the juice. Okay. Put up your product, build up your product, or build up your service that you intend to put up the market. And this is actually the hardest, if I would say, the hardest part of the incubation.
The most interesting.
The most interesting one, where you must prove that your business is actually going to take over. Do you have market for it? Go out to the market, test your product. Will people like it? Do they like the packaging and etc.? So there, from the incubation, when you pass that, when you feel like now my product is good for the market, it is an innovative idea, meaning that you're solving a unique problem or you're providing a unique product, a unique service to the market. Now you can go into the accelerator. Accelerator stage or level is where now you look at how to now increase on your market. If you've been producing about maybe 10 products, now you know that your market is big, so you can now start producing in tons, for example.
So at the incubation level, you already have the product produced, and you have, if you are producing water, you already have the water and you have the product, you can see it there. Probably you can even test it. Maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
How do you take the market and ask your neighbor or ask your friend, what do you think about this? You could have a test, maybe juice, and see, is it different from the products that are available? Do you think people will like it? And of course, with the work of the mentors and the coaches now, that's where they're now giving you another touch of making sure that you're unique in the market. You will do great if you go out into the market.
Okay, so at the accelerator level, you are looking at how to actually improve or even expand. You can expand, horizontally or vertically, or make sure you change a few things so that the product actually becomes that big idea that you actually had in mind.
For example, those who know how to drive,
yes.
when you're starting to drive, you ignite, and that is now pre-incubation. And then incubation now, you
engage the gear.
And then of course now we do acceleration, which is an accelerator step now, so where you accelerate and you move. You're ready to move another level, like some people have already said that our economy is going another level. So of course, after acceleration, that's now where the incubation center is comfortable that you're going to grow big. Okay. And this is why we're saying that businesses that are starting need to go through this incubation center.
Now, Gilbert, just to get something, at what point does a startup leave the incubation center?
This is now after the acceleration. Okay. After the acceleration is what we call graduation, where the incubation center says, according to assessment and analysis, you're going to grow big. You have customers, you're already making money, you can now pay rent, you can now
build the brand.
You build the brand, you have a team that is capable of taking up this business to another level, so now you can live. And after leaving, most times, of course, the incubation center follows you up and says, okay, please don't rent in a Korolo, please rent somewhere where you can afford. Okay. So after graduation, you leave out the incubation center, and now you're ready to take off.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Gilbert. You are watching a Business Clinic show, a show that brings you the solutions. You can look forward to most of these because we know that the challenges out there, they come in different forms, they come in different, measure, and our business is to really ensure that we have the solutions, the best solutions for you to ensure that at least your business can run. We've been talking about business incubation. Most people do not know that there are places there where you just go with your idea and you start, you think through it, you put it together, you get things done, and as at the end of the day, you have a business running. And there are very many successful businesses in Uganda that have gone through incubation, and you can be sure that they are doing well. Now, our desire is that you should be able to look for an incubation center next to you or even in the neighborhood so that you are able to run. Until next time, please keep it Smart TV. Look out for the Business Clinic.